I don't know how many of you are aware of this or not, but most fitness magazines out there are actually owned outright by nutritional supplement companies, which means all those great ads and articles you see touting the incredible potency of most of the supplements you see out there are actually propaganda. If the nutritional supplement company actually doesn't own the magazine, just the amount of money they spend in advertising skews entirely the information you, the end user, is receiving and actually believing. And here's a lovely example of it today. We're going to talk about, you know, I just recently saw the movie Avengers, and it was great, by the way. If for nothing else, just for what the Hulk, there's a scene in there with the Hulk, it's worth the price of admission just there alone, and you'll know what scene I'm talking about once you see the movie. All right, so that being said, one of the characters in the Avengers is Thor, and I actually saw the original movie Thor a couple of years back, and Chris Hemsworth does he does a great character playing role. He looks the part more or less. We got to keep in mind that Thor, the actual cartoon character, is supposed to be a 500-pound guy, so they really had to beef up Chris quite a bit in preparation for this role. And here's where the article in Men's Health magazine really caught my attention, because believe it or not, I'm going to demonstrate right before your very eyes what Thor himself did to prep for this movie part. And I'm going to try and do this with a straight face. According to Men's Health magazine, to get cut up for the role, and it only took him a few weeks. Now, who am I to define what a few weeks means? It's certainly not for me to do that, so let's go to Webster's dictionary, and a few means 3. So this is supposedly what was done in as little as 3 weeks to get Thor ripped and shredded for the part. He does 4 exercises. One of them involves a sledgehammer to a tire. The second involves lateral hopping. The third involves T push-ups. And the last one is mountain climbers. You gotta see this to believe it, because I think reading it, perhaps without the visual, you don't realize just how fucking stupid this sounds. All right, so here we go. This is to be done in a circuit-styled fashion, one right after the other, and once you finish all 4 exercises, you're gonna need to rest for a minute because it's really tiring. Okay. So I'm going to start off with the sledgehammer, and according to the article, I have to do this 8 times on each arm, 8 hops on each side, 8 T push-ups on each arm, and then 15 mountain climbers. Why the fuck it's not 16 doesn't make sense to me, because it should be 8 on each side. But that being said, let's have some fun with this. Let's just take a look at what we're talking about. So 8 on each arm of the sledgehammer slam. That's my 8. I don't want you to think I'm going easy on it, because I'm not. $14, $15, $16. That's 8 on each side for the lateral hops. those are your T push-ups. Oops, I did 18. Completely overdid that one. And now I got to rest 1 minute. Now if I repeat this 3 times, in 3 weeks, I'm going to be ripped like Thor. Really? Fuck me. This is amazing to me that shit like this gets printed for the end user like you. I've only been in the business 28 years, and I've only been working out for 37. This kind of belittlement, and that's what it is. I'm not saying this can't be fun to do. I'm saying this kind of bullshit is going to screw you, the end user, over, because there's no fucking way. You can do 4 exercises like this, resting 1 full minute in between 3 times, and in 3 weeks, you're going to be ripped like Thor. All right. Now that we've done with the bullshit that you see in Men's Health magazine, and by the way, I'm not saying everything in Men's Health magazine is bullshit, but this certainly is. So, since the information of what Chris actually did is readily available to you, as well as me, and I found it on the internet, including actual video footage of him saying what he really did to get ripped. Somehow, that eluded the writers over at Men's Health magazine. All right, let's take a look at what he probably really did, and then we'll talk about what he probably really did to put on 20 pounds of muscle in 8 weeks. Oh, fuck, don't get me going. We'll take a look at this. All right, so now let's take a look at what Chris Thor most likely really did. In researching for the role, we found out, in fact, he did your traditional 3 days on, 1 day off, split routine, heavy lifting, bodybuilding. It worked. Don't fuck with it. Here's what he did. Day 1, he did chest and back. Now, this is very common for most people who want to follow bodybuilding to do. So he does chest and back on day 1, meaning that he did bench press, bent over rowing, weighted pull-ups, and weighted dips, right? So there's his chest and back. That's it for day 1. He's doing 4 sets of each of those, and he's only working up to 6 repetitions, which means he's not making a conscious effort to stop at 6 repetitions. The weight is stopping him from doing 7 repetitions. So the weight needs to be taken into consideration, and it's heavy enough to stop you from doing more than 6 repetitions. All right, so that was day 1. Day 2, he does only legs. So he starts off with squats, then deadlifts, and then hamstring curls. And again, he's only doing 6 repetitions, 4 sets of each, dealing with a weight that prevents him from doing 7. On day 3 is the day he's doing arms. So he does weighted chin-ups, and he does close grip bench press. Same style, 4 sets, 6 repetitions each. Then he takes a day off, and then he resumes. All right, that's what's going on inside the gym while he was bulking up. Here's where they naturally need to throw in some bullshit to make you believe that Hollywood or athletes are superhuman. He supposedly puts on 20 pounds of muscle in only 8 weeks. Now, we know scientifically that a young man in his latter teens is producing the most amount of testosterone to epitestosterone in his body in his life cycle, which means that that's at the stage he can produce the most amount of lean muscle tissue. Chris is not 19. So if a 19-year-old can produce approximately 1 lean pound of muscle per month, and that would be an effort, That's about 12 to, at best, 15 pounds of muscle in a year. They're claiming that Chris did this, not 12 pounds, 20 pounds in only 8 weeks. Now, I'm not sure exactly how he did that. Some people question what he did. Who am I to question what it was? But the reality is, did he have help if he really put 20 pounds of muscle? I'm going to say probably. And I'm not a hypocrite about it, because when there are millions of dollars on the line, athletes, actors, they'll do whatever it takes. I don't care if they're golfers, hockey players. I don't care what sport they play. The hypocrisy of going after Barry Bonds. Do I think Barry Bonds was on the juice? Yes. Most likely growth hormone, because his bones grew too. His head size grew. But they could never nail him on it because there's no accurate test to measure human growth hormone. Do I care that he's taking it? No. And you want to know why? Because the other athletes that you like, your favorite one, yeah, guess what they're doing? When there are millions of dollars on the line to get that contract, I don't care if you're an actor or an athlete, you're going to compete. You want to think your athlete, your favorite one is clean? Entertain yourself. I don't care. But note this. If you're pissed off that somebody like Barry Bonds stole the record away from Hank Aaron, who you think was also clean, who are you kidding? Hank Aaron's last year of playing in baseball was 1976. And I'll have you know, the most drug-tainted games in Olympic history belongs to Montreal. 1976 Olympics, the same year Hank Aaron finished playing in the big leagues. So get your head out of your ass if you think drugs are anything new. They've been around for hundreds of years. And the better part of the whole Barry Bonds bullshit is the pitcher who pitched the ball that tied Hank Aaron's record. He himself, the pitcher, tested twice positive for steroid use. Honestly. All right. So, did Chris get this way because he ate lots of chicken and quinoa? I don't think so. But this is likely the routine he did. And that's how he bulked up 20 pounds of muscle real quick. And by the way, the other bullshit you saw that was in Men's Health about how he got cut up, that's a load of shit too. Chris himself, in video testimony, says he did CrossFit-style training, which we have been doing at Siscoe Gym since 1984 as part of our programming. Why? Hey, it works, but it's a piece of the puzzle. It's not the complete puzzle. There you have it. I hope you don't get bullshitted your way through too many of those fitness magazines you entertain yourself with, because most of them lie through their teeth.